Hello, let me begin with a small experiment with you. This object has defined what humanity has thought about the odds for decades and centuries. If I flip this coin right now, what is the probability that it will land on heads? Thank you, that is correct. Raise your hand if you think it's heads. Tails? You may have not noticed right now, but in this exact moment, something small, unnoticeable, yes, but revolutionary just happened. Here's exactly what we know and don't know. In my hand right now, this coin isn't 50-50. It's either heads or tails. Probability, the 50%, only told us between what we know and what we assume. We assume that the coin is fair, that the heads and the tails are the same. We assume that the flip is random, that I'm not secretly controlling it. And we assume that no outside forces will change the outcome. No tilts, no magnets, nothing like that. And when we begin making these assumptions, we create what we call a simple model in science. The model basically just states if everything I've just said is true, there is a 50% chance. But here's the part that nobody seems to get. If any of our assumptions are wrong, the model is also wrong. That 50% could be higher, lower, or just completely useless. So every time I or society begins talking about the odds or possibility, what we're actually talking about is not reality, not the coin, but rather us. This reminds me of a hilarious moment in my math tutoring class that I want to tell you today. We were learning about probabilities or percentages or whatnot, solving a problem with a few other friends that went along the lines of, a coin is flipped 3 times. What is the probability of getting exactly 2 heads? Now, some of you math geniuses in the audience might be thinking 3/8, and to that I say you are correct. I was daydreaming outside the window when the kid from the back of the class suddenly asked, "Where is the coin from? Is the coin the same mass on both sides? Is it even real?" To this day, I still don't know if he was being serious or just trying to be funny. But the teacher, looking visibly annoyed, simply stated, "This is a math class, not a philosophy class. Just assume it is." As I recall this moment in front of all of you right now, I want to laugh. Because a week ago, this was the same teacher that stood in the same place telling us about Nikola Tesla and the Wright brothers. Yes, the same Nikola Tesla in his autobiographies that questioned the assumption that energy had to follow the strict limitations of electromagnetic theory. The same Nikola Tesla that's powering the screen behind us right now. And the Wright brothers who asked why not, and in doing so, lifted humanity, both metaphorically and physically, off the ground. And fast forward, here we are, a week later, being told not to ask whether a coin was fair. That day, we all laughed, but I believe the laughter hides something deeper, something we never wanted to admit, the hypocrisy of it all. Okay, think about it. 1 week, we're learning about Nikola Tesla, the Wright brothers, the people who questioned the very assumptions that the teacher was making right now. And the next week, just assume the coin is fair. So let me get this straight. The class is saying, be inspired, change the world, defy the odds. But it's also saying, don't question the rules, don't question the odds, and don't even ask if the coin is real. But in truth, this isn't really a laughing matter. It showed a deep truth to our system. Questions can sometimes be stronger than answers. And here's the thing about the kid at the back of the class, who may have just asked these questions to entertain us. I believe he's smarter than me, smarter than you, and smarter than the teacher. Not because he knew the answer to every single question, but because he learned how to question the question itself. Similar to a game, every probability or assumption, every rule we learn is part of the game setup. When we beat the odds, we essentially beat the game. We overpower it through working hard, strategizing, and following the rules, and everybody likes winning, right? But sometimes the game is rigged. Sometimes the rules aren't fair. It's like you've mastered chess and you're suddenly playing Twister, and you can't even say leg piece to red. Yet, this change of the game is always justified, as the educational system states that we must be adaptable. Then, overpowering the game isn't enough. Then, strategizing isn't enough. Instead, you be able to play every single one and perform it to perfection without questioning anything. But when we begin to question the odds, we're no longer asking, how do I beat this game? Rather, we expose a much deeper question. Why does this game exist? Why must the rules be like this? And why am I even playing in the first place? And in that question, you step outside of the game entirely. You refuse to partake in a system that treats you like an impossibility. And when you question the odds, you no longer play the game, you design the game. And don't get me wrong, beating the odds is quite impressive, but questioning the odds is revolutionary. One keeps you in the game, the other allows you to design the game entirely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer about physics, electricity, or probability in a classroom. Every system we live in today, whether politics, economics, or culture, has rules, assumptions, and odds. But when we don't question the odds, something quieter but far more dangerous happens. Children learn what cannot be done. Communities learn what they're allowed to wish for. Entire generations begin to confuse destiny with probability. And when we stop questioning the odds, injustice gains a strange kind of camouflage. It no longer looks cruel, it just looks normal. Inequality stops sounding like an outrage and starts sounding like an explanation. We begin saying things like, that's just the way it was. That's the way it's always been. So I ask you today, as you step outside of this auditorium, I want you to think, does it look normal because it is right? Or does it look normal because inequality was normalized? So the next time your teacher asks you to memorize your paper, don't just nod, say what the paper does in the first place. The next time your mom asks you to clean your room, say, why should I? You might get tapped gently on the back with a cleaning tool, but still. And the next time society tells you to simply accept the odds, don't beat them, question them. And the next time you flip a coin, never say 50-50. Thank you.